Dark Willow, I don't think did she get any changes this patch? I don't believe she
10
did.
seconds remaining.
I do believe Ogre Magi got a bit of nerfs. Bristleback also coming out, so
5 seconds
incredibly
remaining.
tanky opening from For the Gang. Disgrace Familia girls will have their work cut out bringing these two people around, bringing these two people down. Sorry.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be not too easy. But I wonder, like, you chose your carry, I think, in the Tiny, and the pos 3 Bristleback straight away.
Mm.
Unless it's going to be like a big switch up and maybe support Tiny or mid Tiny comes out, it feels like a very greedy opening, right? Like, you're revealing quite a lot here to Disgrace Familiar girls, if anything, in my opinion.
I agree with you. The thing is, even though you took the tie and the Bristleback, you're not going to be punished by any support pick because there's no like hoodwink with a break that's going to be that's going to come out. And okay, all right, I like the Tide Hunter, but yeah, the two supports don't counter these two cores at all. So that's going to be an issue for them to deal with. But Tide Hunter comes out. Love the team fight. Still doesn't solve your damage problem, but not every hero needs to do damage. But the next two picks from Disgrace Familia girls do have to be able to bring these two guys down.
Remaining.
Yeah. Well, there's a Tide to be picked up here from Disgraced Familiar girls. So I'm always a big fan of the Tide, Otomo. I love the team fight it offers. I love the tankability from this hero. And of course, right now from 4DAGANG, I guess build into a Silver Edge later on the Tiny, assuming it's a carry. But right now, no real good ways to deal with it. And I think it does do decently into the Tiny, right?
Yeah, the thing is, you're up against like Tide Hunter as Tiny. You can get a nice Ink Swell. It's like, oh my god, the Grim Circle. I was going to say Magic Stick, and you basically counter the hero during the lane. So I feel like Tiny's going to have a lot of free farm, and that'll give him an early shard and just scales so well. And there goes the Hoodwink. We talked about Break. Now we have our own on For the Gang.
I like it. I'm a big fan of this Hoodwink hero, Otomo. I've been spamming it quite a bit as soon as it came out, and I like it quite a lot. I think it's great setup. I think it's very hard to catch, and it should be a pos 4 Hoodwink along with the Bristback as well. So very annoying lane to have to play against, I'd say, for Disgraced Familiar girls. That being said, though, we haven't really seen the pos 1 of this Dire yet, so kind of hard to know exactly where they're going to go. But do you think there's a particular pos 1 that fits very nicely against Bristlehood in the laning stage?
I mean, Ursa's always pretty solid, right? Like you'll out damage the Bristleback if you can get to him. What are they gonna go with? They go with the that's also pretty good. Very elusive, not bad to have against the Hoodwink. Can dodge a lot of damage. I like the Ricky pick. Issue is that Soulbind seems like he might get Soulbind a lot this game. You know, he's gonna be the melee range, easy to get Soulbind with the Tide or an Ogre. So that's a bit of an issue, but overall, I like it. I like the Ricky pick.
Yeah, certainly so. It's going to be quite annoying to deal with as well. Like, Diffusal Blade build-up. I mean, we know how much Ricky loves Diffusal Blade. It's one of those heroes that as soon as you get that item up, you become a powerhouse. And, I mean, with this draft as well from Disgraced Familiar girls, it feels like they can play very fast. Like, once they've got the Diffusal up, it just seems like they don't need to stop.
And I know we talked about how tanky the Bristol and the Tiny are, but with Tide Hunter, you blink, you get Ravage, you can't catch Grim and Hoodwink, and Ricky is so mobile that he should also be able to jump on one of them. Like, you can bring down these supports and then deal... Oh, there we go. And then deal with the other two cores. Vengeful Spirit comes out. I love the new shard on the Vengeful Spirit. And I do believe that OG has been absolutely tearing house with this hero as well as a core.
10 seconds.
But what does this mean, though? Like, is it a pos 3 Venge? Is it a pos 1? Like, where's everyone going now?
I think they're going to keep it flexible just to see how the enemy plays as well. Like, I think the Bristleback should go with the Hoodwink in the off lane. But then you can put Tiny mid if it's a good matchup. You can put the Vengeful Spirit as a carry, or you can swap them around, see where you go. What I imagine is going to happen, actually, is that it's going to be the Grimstroke 4, the Hoodwink mid, and the Vengeful Spirit carry, and we're going to look like idiots. And support Vengeful Spirit. We'll be like, oh, I don't know how that came out.
That's all right, Otomo. I always look like an idiot during the draft, so don't you worry. It's nothing new to me.
You know, you look like a genius because you have this lovely beard that you can just you can just stroke the beard, and people will be like, man, he must be in deep thought when you're just thinking about lunch.
You are eerily accurate, Ottomo. Very, very accurate of you to say that as final pick up here. Disgrace Familia girls.
Lena.
They are going to go
Choose your
into
hero.
the Lena, interestingly enough. Not quite the hero I was expecting. It doesn't feel quite as strong as it once did, but you talk to me about it, Ottomo. Do you like the Lena here?
I do, but I think she got really nerfed with that fiery souls, the change. Now it has based on how many people you hit, and you get less in total. I don't think the Lena is as good as she used to be. She is still a great mid laner because she can do magic damage. She can transition to right click. She can burst people down. So I think she's still good, but she definitely took a big hit compared to the previous patch where we see Booster Travel, Silver Edge, BKB, unkillable, killing machine Lena.
Yeah, it's just not the same thing anymore. But we'll see what they can get done here. 4DAGANG against Disgrace Familia girls should be another great matchup here between these two teams. And Ottomo, I'll ask you before we do officially get into game number one between these two, who do you think came out with the better draft overall?
I think I like Disgrace Familia girls. I just think that this Tide Hunter will be able to do a lot of work. Same thing with the Ricky. You can jump on the supports. I
Prepare
don't
for
know how I
battle.
feel about this this weird vengeful bristleback Tiny seems odd. We'll find out, right? Like last time, I felt all the way about one team. This time, I'm not gonna bet my house. I'm just gonna bet my baby. Just my baby this time.
Well, to be fair, you don't have a house left, Ottomo.
Ah,
so
that's true.
The only thing left is the child. I mean, that's all right.
Only thing of value that I have is my newborn. But yeah, I do think I prefer the Dire Draft just a little bit more. I like the team fight. I think they have a good combo as well. With the lead now scaling. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Grimstroke when I don't see combos. But Venge double magic missile with shard seems like pretty amazing with the Soulbind.
Yeah, I agree with that, right? Like 4 magic missiles just bouncing around in a team fight does seem completely busted. And speaking of that, Venge, 4 mangoes already on giving up, so it seems like she's intending on a very active laning stage.
Yeah, right. That's very odd. Like she just wants to spam those magic missiles just to get those last hits that she needs. Assuming, I mean, I do feel like she's gonna be that mid Venge, right? It has to be the mid Venge.
The battle
No,
begins.
wait, no, it's mid Hoodwink because she's queuing up the
Oh.
bottle. Yeah, it's good. It's
Okay.
mid Hoodwink, baby. See, I
bit
told
of a-
I told you it's gonna be something weird like that.
Bit of a page out of the old Thompson book, I say. I
Uh,
like it. I mean, again, I'm a big Hoodwink fan here, Ottomo, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Lulu can get done here on this hero. Mid Hoodwink, to me, from my experience, and keep in mind, I'm not a very good player, but from my experience, Mid Hoodwink, for me, is pretty bad. But I don't know. Against this Lena, I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, one of the reasons the mid Hoodwink may not be as good as a side lane Hoodwink is because you get no real benefit from Scurry because there's no trees around. Where are you gonna jump? Unless you plant your own in the middle of like in the middle of the river, just so you can get some advantage. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. Lexi on the Lena, that's a standard mid lane Lena. She's played it probably 100 times. Lulu on the Hoodwink, tough. We'll see how it goes.
Of course, we should have a look at the side lanes as well. Maybe bot lane, you've got giving up there on the Venge. Support Venge again with Reza on that Tiny, and they're going to be against Miss Anvor. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Anvorgiza and NND.
Don't worry. After this, they might send you a tweet like, "How could you not know?" Or it's a silent A. Like, oh, I had no idea. But yeah, I'm surprised that she's gonna need a magic stick very early. Again, when you're playing against Titan, you get a magic stick. As much as she spams those anchor smashes, you get a lot of value out of it. So that'll help a lot. You don't need 5 mangoes if you have a magic stick, basically.
Yeah, very, very true. And of course, that final lane, Ottomo, top lane, Cat Fairy, and Weak when you're around against July and Kami. Bristleback lanes, again, I haven't seen this in meta for quite a while, so it's hard to know what to expect. Do you think it goes either way or the other at this top lane?
I kind of like it more. I think I like the Bristleback and the Grim a bit more, honestly, because you can maybe get a couple of kills on the Ogre if if she extends. You get a few of those stacks off. Suddenly you're hit by an Ink Swell. You're there for extended time. You can kill Cat Fairy, and Weak when you're around also might suffer. But so far, all of the Dire cores are just top of the net worth in terms of CS, especially mid lane. Holy shit!
Yeah. It's a... I mean, I told you, Automo, Hoodwink mid, not very good, I think.
By the way, I sorry for the vulgarity. I mean, holy crap! You know that is Lexi is really going to town. 6. She's got more denies than Lulu has in terms of last hits.
It's a rough time. I mean, Lulu, to be fair to her, you know, lower base damage, worse attack animation on that Hoodwink. So we'll see if she can kind of catch up later on and, you know, maybe even just rotate to the jungle, though NND bot lane.
Radiant's
Yes.
Oh, very nice courier snipe. Magic Missile, though, is there for giving up. Oh, but another courier to come up for NNT. She might die now, or maybe not, as the Brambles does land. She'll just TP right out of there and giving up can't get it done. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Dude, the position 4s in this tournament have been insane. You say JNA in the previous game, and now NND gets 2 couriers and just walks out there, wastes giving up time as well. That's insane. How much gold did she get for the team? Like 400 gold from that? It's 2 couriers, right? That's,
Very nice.
no, sorry, it's 300 gold total. That's insane.
I mean, at 3.5 minutes in, you can't complain about that, that's for sure. Especially if you get out with your life intact and go for a reset. So they are going to try and move into the Tide, but there's not much they can do against this tanky Tide Hunter.
Yeah.
If Riza is around.
Yeah, unfortunately, like there's no kill potential here. Like it'd be great if they catch NND if she misplays, but like you're not getting kills unless the enemy makes mistake. Tidehunter's too tanky. Darkwood has her own survivability. It's very tough. It's not like in a Slark, you know, or an Ursa where you can stack up something, get kills on the Tide. It's either burst from the Tiny or that's it, and it's not happening. Like look.
Keep trying.
Yeah, it's cute. Look at that. Look at that. Everything.
I mean, why not? You've got to try, I guess, but she's got plenty of regen, so chances are she's going nowhere. Brambles, though, giving up. Not going to connect, but they've got the Cursed Crown to follow up, and giving up. Going to cop a lot of damage, if not just die, as they do secure first blood for the Tide Hunter. Poor old Riza just didn't have any spells to throw out to help.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying like you're not gonna kill Tide and Darkwood, but the reverse is definitely not, you know, different for them. They can definitely get kills with the Tide and the Darkwood. A lot of stuns, a lot of good damage, and I don't know. You gotta wonder what's the good point. No lane is going well for the gang.
Absolutely not. I mean, I guess no. I was about to say maybe top lane, but that's gone pretty horrendously away as well here for 4DAGANG. It just seems like Weak, when you're around, is just dominating here on this Ricky in terms of CS as well. The bot lane, we've got a bit of a jump going on again. Onto giving up. They'll just aim down the vent, and it should be another kill to come as the self cancellation is there. She'll try to run, but it's just not going to be enough. NND gets the final click off, and I suppose on the brighter side, I don't know, you got Riza out of there, but she's not having a great time either.
Alright, let's see. What the good points might be that they can be pretty active on the Radiant side later on. You know, Hoodwink, she does a lot of burst damage. She wants to move around. Grimstroke, very good to have in fights. Vengeful Spirit as well. Like you do have an active group if you stay behind the Bristleback. Problem is, everyone's falling behind. So even if you stick around, like you go 4-on-4, the enemy team's just so much tankier in the head. Oh, Cat Fairy though.
A bit of trouble here. Get the sharpshooter going, but Cat Fairy is still a very, very tanky target. Kami trying her best, but it's not going to be enough. And Lexi, she'll be there to make sure they can't pursue any further. And that's a very worrying sign.
Yes.
Like when you can't kill the Ogre with the sharpshooter, that's a concern.
And I think she kind of used she didn't wind up the sharpshooter for long. It was like 1.5 seconds. So, but she was forced to. Like she has to shoot it because otherwise you're not gonna land the hit anyway. But Cat Fairy just walking out that looking really good.
Absolutely. Cat Fairy will rotate top lane. Kami's going to be very cautious though. She'll go in with the silence and the Inkswell, and the stun will land. They've got the Ricky control, but the Stroke of Fate, it doesn't connect. When you're around, still perfectly fine. Is going to stick charge up and try to back off though. July moving in, might be able to set up for a kill, but in the end we'll have to let her go.
Good attempt.
Yeah, certainly was.
It would have been the last thing though. We kind of mentioned this, that Ricky is pretty elusive. Like we said, he can jump on the supports and kill them. So it might not be worth it to go for her. You might be better off just killing Cat Fairy 2 or 3 times. Because a kill when you're 3k behind at 7 minutes, Like any kill is good. You know, any kill, just kill anything.
Just kill anything.
Just win. Just win the game. Like you know, it's like just win. Why aren't they winning?
Well, at least now they can try to dominate this top lane a little bit more. When you're around, I mean, you're at that stage against the Bristleback where you can't really contest as easily, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike. I think that 4DAGANG needs to press the "Let's Win" button. You know, they're not pressing it hard enough. There are decent stacks coming out for them, so there will be a bit of recovery. You can give it to the Bristleback so he can make space, or the Tiny so he can actually sort of get on board. That's a decent ruin for your life, I think.
Giving up, yeah, she'll go down, but yeah, like you said, I mean, you took the double damage away from Lexi, and considering how good of a laning stage Lexi's had, you'd probably rather not allow her to have that double damage. So top lane, again, July was being jumped there. They won't chase too much further. It's still a very tanky Bristleback. Things still going very well, however, for this Dire team, as there's just no slowing them down.
Yeah, at this point you have to be like, all right, let's get the Vengeful Spirit top lane. Let's work together because Tiny's already jungling. Like, Tiny does not need anyone to hold her hand anymore. But the top lane, Bristleback's trying to make space. He's got the Grimstroke. So you don't... You want to make sure they have as much backup as possible. If they can get a kill or two, start turning these things around. Because, again, Tidehunter's not... He's unkillable. You know, he got the hood, got the bracer, got a magic wand. It's unkillable to go for the Tidehunter.
It certainly is. Well, who can they go for, though? Like, who do you aim down? They're going to try for the Riki again, but the silence is already off, so she's going to be able to bounce back towards the backside. Still, Lulu has shown up. They'll get when you're around town, and now maybe even Cat Bird to drop. So a 4-hero rotation being committed, but they do get 2 for their trouble.
Very worth it. Like a good injection of the XP and gold. And I was about to say, Mike, right before that happened, that they should go and kill the Riki. It's just, you know, they read my mind that they were able to go for it. So really well played. You know, just the perfect rotation. Keep the Venge top, and let Bristleback play like Tidehunter. You know, just back him up. He'll be unkillable, and hope for the best with that.
Yeah, speaking of that Tide, we're having an amazing game right now. Top of the net worth board, still unkillable.
5,000 net worth almost, like 4 point. Ah, that is insane. Very close to the Blink Dagger as well. Once he gets that big Ravage off, you are in so much trouble.
Is under attack.
We go again. Power Rune not going to be at the top side, so Lulu does bottle up the haste. Still, they are looking to move in. Usher's there, NND. Land the brambles, but the Ravage is going to be connected onto 2 targets, and that should be at least Lulu gone, as they do commit the Laguna. They'll even find giving up.
Bristleback was thinking of joining in that fight, but realized, yeah, it's not gonna be a good thing if I show up. Instead, stay, stop, and farm. Wise decision, but again, you are gonna be giving up probably this mid tower right now. They can't defend it.
Certainly cannot.
Soulbind is available though. You do have the Grimstroke Soulbind. You do have decent combos. The double stun from Venge. I think double Acorn shot as well. So you have things if you can get a good Soulbind off.
So hard though with that tier 1 mid tower dropping now. The map opens up so much for the disgraced Familia girls, and where you see this Freezer gonna be spotted out, just bullied away from her own jungle. This is where things become very problematic now, especially when you've got a Riki with a Diffusal Blade. This is what we kind of talked about, Onimo, during the draft, is you just don't need to slow down anymore.
Yeah, right, like they have no down, like yes, Ravage is the only thing that they have to sort of like wait for, but the other 4 heroes basically have no downtime. They can fight at any point of the game, especially like the Ogre, the Lina, the Riki. These guys can just keep on going. To be fair, same thing applies to the Radiant side. They're not exactly waiting on any big cooldowns. Their big cooldown is the fact that they're so far behind in that worth that they can't really engage. Tiny is playing on the enemy side just to get some farm going for her.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all you can do right now is just go to the opposite side of the map, but I mean, surely you're not going for a tier 2 bot tower yet, right? Like, Disgrace Familia girls, they've got a siege creep. I suppose they're not going to commit, though. Instead, defending mid lane is the objective. Lexi avoiding the bushwhack there from Lulu.
Mike,
it seems like
I feel sad seeing giving up being level 4 12 minutes in. Like, that's a Venge. You need that swap. You really need it.
You certainly do. That's a big problem. And speaking of giving up, It seems like, unfortunately, Otomoshi is going to drop, so no XP for her. July going to move in anyway, with the Inkswell going to land onto the Tide, and maybe they can take her down finally. She is dropping now. July, plenty of damage available, and it looks like they will get him, but what did they lose in response?
It's only the
They've
supports.
got Kami down. July, completely out of mana now. So nice bushwhack. May have saved the day, but they'll still lock her down. They'll still have some damage output,
Oh.
and with the Laguna, they'll have no problem.
It was kind of looking okay, you know, killing the highest value target on the Tide Hunter, but then they lose the Bristleback as well, and you're like, ah, well, now it's not worth it. Again, Venge is just dying so much in these fights. I understand that's sort of part of the hero's shtick, but she's died 6 times, still not. She's not even close to level 6. She just turned level 5. I'm worried, Mike. Give me some good news.
Me?
No.
I mean, I'm trying to find some. I guess Lulu's almost at a Maelstrom timing, so you know you're gonna have the split pushing Hoodwink soon on the Radiant. But I don't know if that's really good news. Otomo.
It's news.
You know, it's something.
If they can get that with the Soul Bind, the Acorn Shot Soul Bind with the double mace, that's a pretty good chunk of damage. But we'll see if they can actually get that. There is a smoke and there is a Ravage available.
Oh, it's perfect timing as well. They're taking the snacks right now, but they jump in. No magic missile. Very quick reactions from giving up, and she's just saved her whole team. She might die, but it's well worth it.
She might live.
That Ravage, she's still alive, but not quite. They do get a 1-for-1 though. NND going down, and now even the Ogre copying a sharpshooter, but man, that was a quick stun.
Huge, like absolutely huge play by giving up there. Yeah, like we've given her a bit of flack, but that was a great stun and gets a 1-for-1 trade. She kills the Dark Willow, who's way ahead in terms of net worth. So waste the smoke. They have to smoke again. Now they're looking for the Tiny. If they get this, it's still a problem, but they know. Cat Fairy breaks the smoke. Yeah. They know.
And they immediately pop the Ravage. No playing around. They know how important it is to take down this Pos 1 Tiny. And Riza, she is actually quite tanky here, but not tanky enough. Lexi gets it done, and it seems like they'll just keep pushing through this bot lane now. And they maintain the lead. 5k net worth lead. 5k net worth lead here for Disgrace Familia girls.
There is no break on the Dire side. You do have the Bristleback. If they can. And the Ravage is down, so this might be a really good time for them to take a fight. You know, they're like, oh yeah, there's no Ravage, maybe even bring the Tiny along for a good fight. It's an opening. This might be the best time for them to smoke. We'll see if the Radiant decide to go for it or not. They do have vision. Like, look at this. This is a ward. They know exactly where Disgrace Familia goes, and there goes their ward. Alright.
5-man smoke though.
They do smoke. They might find the Ricky, but that's awkward.
There's a sentry ward. They at least have a bit of vision for now. Giving up has also popped the dust. The Bushwhack is there. They should have enough now, and it looks like they just may. Inkswell, even a follow-up. The silence is going to wear off, and they've got him. Weak when you're around is going to drop, but here comes the Tide. Won't be enough yet, though. July is still very confident to keep moving her way forward, but Lexi is going to just try and fight back. July getting stunned up. Curse Crown will be there, but the damage is stunned. The stack with the Cruel Sprays, in fact. Now they move back in. Lulu, a great pushback from the backside. They've taken down 2. They've got 3, in fact.
Huge
The only survivor is the Tide.
This is great. They got 2 cores. They got the position 5 as well. It was a great soul. I don't actually soul mine, but the Inkswell was fantastic. It actually was able to kill the Ricky and then hop on the Ogre Magi, getting Cat Fairy as well. So just a really good play. Cuts down the net worth advantage by basically half. So suddenly there are signs of life here.
Certainly is, and there's that Maelstrom time we talked about here for Lulu. So plenty of damage to come out and plenty more split pushing to come out for this Hoodwink. And props to Lulu as well, Otomo. Like, she had a very tough lane, but she's catching up quite fast.
Yeah, like barely behind. I mean, 1,000 behind the Lina, but that's to be expected. She does kind of provide a little bit more combat value if she can get a good soul bind. So definitely something to be happy about. Tiny, though, lowest net worth core, even though she's kind of been free farming the whole game. Like, she's 0, 1, and 0. That's worrisome.
It's not a good time here for the Tiny, that's for sure.
She skipped the Echo Saber to get the shard first. I think that's okay. Although I think the Echo Saber might speed up your farm a bit more. This was something one of those carry players will have a better answer. We're just support noobs, me and you.
I think you are correct though. I think the Echo Saber is what you're meant to go for
Yeah.
first. She may have had a few problems though throughout that laning stage, which is why she just went for the shards instead. Which is smart. Like if you can't afford the Echo Saber before the shards, before the 15 minutes, I think you may as well just get the shards first.
Yeah, the thing is when you go with the Echo Saber is that you can go to a camp, you straight away get the double hit, and you move on. But yeah, well, you're not having to grab trees. That's helpful, I guess. July, moving forward, there is a Ravage this time though. They're all
I'm
here.
very confident. BKB up though on Lexi now, so she might want to force the fight. It's very nice timing, but it seems like they don't exactly have the greatest way of dealing with July. And you've seen July just throwing her body forward, just making sure she tanks all the damage, but never mind. They're going to go for a big smoke up. Blink Ravage is there.
Ooh, giving
They
up.
find first.
That's a good
Supports have shown themselves. Blink forward. They've got both of them. Straight off the bat, just take down both supports if you can. Kami's gone. Giving up. She'll try to fog her way out of this. But eventually, you should have the defuse, and well, that should be enough for the Venge.
Not too bad. I mean, Ravage was used, and you only lost 2 supports. That does give them an opening for the next 2 minutes. And we have seen that they can take solid fights like that top lane when there's no Ravage. So I don't think you're too sad about this if you're for the gang. You're like, yeah, we lost our supports, but that's their job. You know, their job is to die in this game, basically.
Yeah. It really is.
That was almost a pretty good smoke break. Like they did get the what's it called, this Phantom, the Phantom's Embrace. It's pretty good this game against the Tidehunter because it's not a stun, it's not a silence. You can't just purge it off. So it's a very good stun to have against the Tidehunter. Sorry, very good disable against the Tidehunter.
Oh, absolutely. You even see it against the Ricky as well.
They smoked right.
What happened?
They smoked right in front of the ward.
Oh no.
Like right in front of it. They all grouped up next to that dire ward. And they just smoke and well, they'll see this coming. And you can see Dire, they're all just backing out. They're like, yeah, let's just waste their time.
Yeah. Lexi just TPs across the map. She'll push out the bot wave, and yeah, the smoke is just going to amount to absolutely nothing. It's a rather depressing side here for the Radianters. They're going to try and find something out of this. Still moving, they might find Cat Fairy, but she's ready to just break the smoke and tank the gank. In fact, she's already done enough. Can they even get the Ogre? It doesn't seem like it. Cat Fairy, very nice positioning to be able to still run her way out after breaking the smoke.
It does seem like July may not be the most comfortable with Bristleback because oftentimes you find Bristleback spamming the Quill Spray just to get that extra movement speed on Warpath. But most of the time we're just seeing her walking out without any Warpath stacks. So, you know, she's doing a great job, but maybe that's one of those things where you look back and you're like, ah, should have been playing, you know, pressing W a lot more in that game.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, even
So, what was that on about?
Even so, they are sort of catching up. 4,000 net worth disadvantage is not the biggest deal. 20 minutes when they were like 6,000 at 40 minutes. So they are definitely clawing their way back into the game. So now we have to ask ourselves which team has the better late game, and it does feel a bit of a 50-50 for me at least. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, I still feel like the Dyers on their still on their way, but it gets to a point in this game where it's like, can you control this tiny? Probably not. You know, eventually Reese is going to be a massive problem. So I guess I'm kind of with you, 50-50 on this.
That's true. The problem is that Tiny, I mean, she's actually farming okay. She's right up there with the Ricky. It's only Lexi on the Lina who's ahead, but Lulu's right up there. Like, I mean, she's behind by a certain, like, good margin, but she is catching up. So the farm is not looking as much of a problem. It's the supports that are really falling behind at this point.
They still are probably going to be happy with the way this game's gone after that terrible laning stage they did have, though. Meanwhile, I mean, both teams just trading bottom, or rather top and bottom tier 2 towers. Both side lanes to go. No defense to come out from either side, I don't think. We'll just be satisfied. Especially for the Radiant, I think you're very happy with just trading evenly right now and just kind of evening out the net worth a little bit. No, are they missing their timings here, Otomo? Like this, it feels like Disgrace Familia girls. They had a great start, but they've slowed down a little bit, and I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about them.
I mean, if we believe that both teams have an equal sort of late game, which I do, like Tiny is good late game, but the hero feels like they peak a bit, and they don't really get much strong. You get the Silver Edge, BKB, Echo Saber, then you kind of more items doesn't help you as much. So I don't think that late game is a big worry for Disgrace Familia girls. Growing your net worth lead is going to be enough. Whoever gets the Aegis is going to probably have a big advantage. Despite the 4K advantage on Dire, it won't matter if Radiant have an Aegis.
It's a very good point.
4,000 is just not much. Oh, here we go.
Well, Lexi does show herself, and indeed, and a brambles onto the Tiny, and that'll allow the Cursed Crown to fly out, even moving in with the Bedlam Shadow Realm, but unable to get close enough. But then when your round is in onto the Grimstroke, though Kami's fine, she's gone too far. Nice Manta dodge, and now the Ravage has saved the day. The Ricky will be able to get out, at least for now, but it's still a Radiant favored fight, it seems like, as Reza will jump in. Lexi just holding her ground, trying to fight back. In fact, now the turnaround. They've got the Ricky back in, and they'll take the Tiny down. She does eventually drop, and it's been an absolute mess of a team fight in the mid lane. Who is it actually favoring? It does seem like the Radiant. Eventually, they do make this one work.
Yeah, they basically get 4 kills. They do have to use a buyback on their position 5, so no one really cares about that. And they do lose the Tiny as well, but they get so much out of it. And maybe you're right, Mike. Maybe that timing you were talking about, it is coming back to bite them in the rear. And look at that, the experience advantage is the big deal. I feel like they forced it too much. You know, they're really wanting to get that kill. Weak when you're around, jumps in right next to the tower, full vision, takes like 80% of her life, and then she can't fight anymore. So a little too eager, you know, that was a misplay right there.
And it was. Lexi's going to be very careful here at this power route. Show up. Oh, there's your route. Lulu will set up for the bushwhack. Do you have the follow-up? There's no BKB yet. Lexi still in trouble. No, she's going to be all right. They don't commit. In fact, now the turnaround is there from Disgrace Familia girls. They move in. Lulu, she's the much bigger target. July, not knowing what to do here, does try to help out. Lulu still dropping though and does go down. That's a big pick-off. They want more. They want the bristle, and they might just have July. She'll keep running, but eventually they'll have the Bramble Maze back up. That'll be enough to lock her down. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. Never mind, the Quill's stacking up a bit too much. Can they actually deal with it? They keep hitting the back. July, just not gonna tie.
Yeah, but no Tiny around to sort of capitalize on this, and 2 people dead. So huge play by July getting that kill. But it's unfortunate they just weren't able to get more out of that. It's Riza didn't have the TP scroll, but didn't think it was worth it. She's gonna go for straight up more damage, by the way, straight for the Silver Edge, not stopping for the BKB. I kind of like that. I think if you can jump in, you burst someone down instantly, might be a bit more useful than having a BKB and like trying to go for these long drawn out fights.
That's the SEA way, Ottoman.
More
We don't believe in BKBs. Always more damage.
Right? I love that. When I see some Dawn Breakers, they go for the Holy Lock. I'm like, screw that! It's Echo Saber to Deso for me, baby.
Always. Without a doubt, you'd never go the other way. That's for sure.
Why do I need survivability if I can kill all my enemies first? See, that's
exactly.
That's the 30 IQ thinking right there. But I do like it in this game. Like, I think the Silver Edge is a great pickup. I mean, again, the break is also amazing for Tidehunter. We have seen Tidehunter sort of struggle a little. She gets broken, gets burst down, and her HP is it's not. What is it? It's not too much, you know. 1,900. You can kill that in the break.
Absolutely, definitely not a big deal anymore. Like, she's gone for the mech build up in the Greaves, and I guess that just doesn't make you quite as tanky as mid lane. Lexi playing with fire, but there was no Sentry Ward down. Swap out, giving up, gonna save the day, but now the Ravage flies through, landing on 4 heroes into the Terrorize. It's looking really bad for the Radiant. As 4DAGANG, maybe they could try to turn, maybe they could try. They've already lost July, they've got to back off. Reza with the Inkswell trying to move back in, but that was not a great idea, as now they'll move back in on the Tiny. So the break is there onto the Tide. Reza still trying to fight, goes back onto the Ricky and does actually get weak when you're around, but it won't matter. They'll be happy with the Reza trade, and that should mean the mid-tier 2 tower to drop.
And it's very clear that Lexi is the carry on the team. She's level 20, and Ricky's only level 15. So they are very aware that, like, oh yeah, Ricky, you're more of a disruptive presence than you are an actual damage dealer. So it's going to be very tough. Until they can deal with this Lina some way or another, they're going to die. Because she's just staying behind, doing all this damage. Going to be level 20 soon. And she has the BKB. She's got BKB. She's got Silver Edge. It has to be the
Radiant's
Lina.
middle
How do you
tower is under
bring her
attack.
down?
Good question.
And
At the very least, you're gonna need some detection, that's for sure.
Vengeful Spirit doesn't have the shard yet. So, by the way, every time the Dire is able to get these big fights, look at the ward next to the tier 2 in the mid lane. Like, they just find this beautiful ward that spots out the next smoke, and that's really been hurting them. Like, the supports on Disgrace Familia doing an amazing job with these wards.
They have Roshan now going down from the Disgrace Familia Girls. As well, there's no defense here from 4DAGANG. They have to leave him be. Aegis gonna go the way of Lexi. They'll put their trust in the Lina. And I think at this point, you're looking for another fight here if you're Disgrace Familia Girls. The question is, where do they go?
Need to be a bit careful though. 40 seconds without the tie-down to Ravage. That has been a big turning point. Just now, that was a 4-man Ravage. Without it, things could have gone a bit different. Oh, they see it. They know.
They do. Kami just going to try and back off with the Ink Swab, but Lexi's going run after Reza. Light Strike Array is not going to land, however. No setup. But they might just go after the tier 2 mid. Look at the damage. It's no problem.
And they've also got the outpost, so that, like, this is when the strangulation begins, you know, like, you're suffocating the enemy team, they're not getting any experience, they're not getting any gold. It's still not terrible. 6k advantage is not the biggest deal, but it's gonna grow, you know, with this Aegis on the Lina. We talked about how killing her is the win condition, but now you just can't. So I don't think that this is gonna end the game for them, but they're probably gonna grow their advantage quite a bit before they consider high ground, at which point Radiant won't have a chance to defend. They'll just be too far behind.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Lexi. T2 top tower now being forced down. I mean, if you're 4DAGANG right now, you've got to find a way to delay this happening and find a way to defend. Problem is, the side lanes are pushed out, apart from the top, of course, and it doesn't seem like Disgrace Familia Girls care whatsoever. They're going all the way onto that high ground, and they're going to force the rotations back. Against the Ravage, it's going to be a very, very hard defense, as you just don't have the BKBs to try and combat it. It's the freest Tide game in the world right now.
That is half HP on the Tide, actually. Oh wow.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's a lot of damage, but it does not connect onto the Tide. And NP will be able to heal up with the Tranquils.
And check out the ward.
Going back.
Check out that ward they put.
That is beautiful. Swap out. Oh, Ravage is out again. Immediately onto 3 heroes with the Terrorize. They look like they are about to melt. July just trying to back, but there's no chance. There's just no chance.
Oh.
So at least they got the Aegis down with the double Acorn shot. But now Sorbine's gone, and they should be able to secure this top lane of barracks.
Yeah, without their tank in front to absorb anything. Oh wait, they're going for it.
Yeah, Lulu got a BKB up now, but it won't stop the right-click damage up from Lexi, and she's gone. Light Strike Array onto the Tiny to boot with the minus armor. It's going to be too much. Way too much damage here from this Lina. Lexi getting it done, and they'll move in for a second Rax.
Buyback is available on the Tiny Fuel. There you go. She does use it, realizing that if I don't, they might just throw in the throne straight away. And there's still no Lulu, though. I feel like Lulu's a big part of your damage right now. Oh, swap.
Yeah, nice swap, but where's your detection? Dust has been popped, but they've lost the Venge. Reza, he can't stick around for too much more. In fact, she didn't actually stick around to get the tree grab off, so she didn't have that bonus damage and range. That may have just cost them the kill into the Lina.
I was about to say the same thing. I was like, wait, she's not hitting that hard, you know? She's not crushing them, and that's because she did not have a tree. Does have it now, but you know, doesn't matter. They're already out.
Very unfortunate. Still, I mean, 12k advantage now to Disgrace Familia Girls, and is there a good way back into this game? I mean, they're only 1 Rax down here for 4DAGANG. I don't know what I don't know who Myron is, but apparently they're number 1.
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, they're good for them, you know. They must be in the chat watching. Yeah, I think it's gonna come down to one of two things. Either you kill the Lina very, very fast, because if you kill her, there is no more real damage coming out from the dire side. Yes, there's like Ricky, it's nice, but it's not the same. Lina's the one killing everyone. Or you get a great soul bind into double acorn shot, double avenge stun. You burst down 2 people very quickly, and then you turn it up 5 versus 3. It has to be one of those two.
See what happens. I mean, they're going through the bot lane now. This time there's no Aegis, but they've got a Daedalus up on now on Lexi, so the damage output does get kind of insane for this Lina.
Kinda.
Here we go.
Or very, also true. Like
Radiant's
the machine gun
bottom tower
Lina.
is under attack.
Look, it started.
And they need Riza. Riza needs to come down here right now.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Still chilling up the top lane, just trying to keep that top lane pushed in and force a defense. Maybe even try to go for a race in terms of the racks, but I do agree they're going to need Riza to try and fight this one out. Unless Disgrace Familia girls actually end up backing off.
Oh.
Riza is hitting tier 3 towers. So, I mean, she's getting some damage off. Is there going to be a defense?
She might get the tower down first, actually. Oh, they do. They use a fortify. They have to use a fortify.
Is under attack.
Bushwhack. Onto the Lina, but Ravage is out again. Onto 3. They can just burst down support. Kami's gone already. They're trying to do with Lexi here with that sharpshooter, but it's nowhere near enough. And Riza, she'll join the team fight eventually after taking the top tier 3 tower. But what does it matter? They're still falling. It's a 4v5 scenario. A good route, but that's all that they've got. As they're trying to move on to the tide with the BKB.
Oh!
Riza, she's got 2 targets. Maybe they can get this Ricky down, and it looks like they can. As weak when you're around, she is eventually going to drop. So Riza with the rotation does eventually make the team fight work, as they even get a route onto the Dark Willow. NND, she might make it out.
Oh, Riza on the way though. She smells it. He's like, someone's here. NND uses the tumbler toy. Yeah, tumbler toy. Still good. 34 minutes of the game, but NND. Oh, this is gonna be tough.
Shadow Realm's there, but there's your route again. Lulu's got it trapped up, and ND gonna go for a 4-star play now. Riza with the toss in onto the Hoodwink, and eventually they'll get the kill. That's a great defense now from 4DAGANG.
Really earned that kill, you have to admit. Like, they chased her all the way, and they do get that kill. Huge defense. I do think the Tide kind of forced it though. That Blink Ravage was solid, but the Ricky spent a lot of time just walking to position, trying to get the damage off. So it was costly. Like, that Ravage kind of baited them into a fight that they didn't really need to take.
Riza double damage rune now up on the Tiny.
Ooh, can she find? That's Cat Fairy. That's maybe a dead fairy.
Oh, Lexi's around though. This might be too risky now. No, she'll pop the BKB. She'll accept the Ogre kill. Suddenly 7-4-4 is the scoreline of this Tiny, and when BKB's down, they might be able to capitalize.
Yeah, that was the 8-second BKB as well, but I still think it's worth if you can get the kill. You are fighting 5 versus 4 if you take a fight, and Ravage is down. Like, they're still on 25 seconds.
Seems like they're so reliant on these Ravages, and well, ever since the BKBs finally started coming out here for 4DAGANG, these team fights have become a hell of a lot harder.
Especially because Riza seems to join only after Ravage is being expended. Like, that top fight pushes all the way towards the tier 3, does not join until Ravage uses, and she's like, yeah, I'll come back in. And they do have a buyback on the Grimstroke. I feel like that's one thing 4DAGANG has done really well. They've used their buybacks very efficiently in all of these team fights.
That they have. So this game gets a lot more tense now, with only an 8k net worth advantage for this dire end. Disgrace Familia girls looking to not be such a disgrace here, as they almost had that game, or that one game going for them, but they might have to go through the bot lane again. See if they can go back after that, Rax.
That was alright, the Disgrace thing. That was okay. I was like, alright. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's fine. They're making their families proud of them.
Thank you, Ottoman. I appreciate that, sir. Lexi?
From one dad to hopefully, it's like I'm with you there. You got me.
Oh, Lexi's being chased, but July won't be able to go against the whole team. She'll back off. Keep in mind though, July does have the Ags up, and that AoE goo, it does start to stack up. It's very annoying to have to play against, and we might see it very soon because Roshan might get started here from Disgrace Familia guilds.
I want to point out that Grimstroke does have the shard as well as both Inkswell talents. So Inkswell not only provides a heal and dispel, it's also pretty low cooldown, only 10 seconds to get off. So pretty good throw on Bristleback. You go in, pops after a couple of seconds, you get another one after that. It's pretty damn good to have on you.
Reza, that's a very aggressive jump in from Reza. They'll put her to sleep. Terrorize, not going to land in time. In fact, Ravage does not land onto anyone either. It's completely wasted. So Reza, she'll try to turn. They might have the tide as well. And it looks like, oh, maybe with the 4-star, that's going to be enough.
Buyback
Put
user.
it up, Bushwhack's up. This is a complete cleanup from Disgrace Familia. Lexi, though, at least get the tiny down. And weak when you're around, she has somehow made it. At least for now, the Bushwhacks won't land, but July still moving in completely blind. Trying to kill somebody else, but it won't work out.
I mean, they do lose Reza in the end, but they do force 2 buybacks from the supports. It's decent. I mean, you can see it's not a huge victory in terms of net worth for the Radiant side, so it's fine. You would have really been happy if you could have gotten the Ricky or taken out the Aegis. As it comes out, I think it's mostly a wash for both teams, but Reza does not have buyback. That is very scary.
Damage is even scarier here for Lexi.
Oh, well, there you go, double damage. How fortuitous for the team, right? Like just what you need to bring down Raxus. She does have the Satanic as well on the Lina, just finished. So I don't know, Aegis, Satanic, Lina. If you kill everyone, you can get her, but by that time she might have shredded everyone on your team as well.
They left it. They left the double damage.
Oh, huh.
Yeah. Wow.
That is... See, the thing is, Mike, me and you, we're heralds. We don't know why they're doing that. This is advanced, 5D chest. That
Absolutely.
they still have a mid. They can actually go get it. Get like a double ruin. They might take a DD and an illusion if they want. But very strange. They're going out. Riza's dead. Like there's no buyback, no nothing, but no DD ruin. Very strange.
I mean, they have the bottle as well in the backpack. Maybe just wanting to make sure Lexi gets it and she doesn't have the space, but definitely could have swapped in and out there. Still, they'll keep moving into that mid lane, trying to take advantage of this tiny down. Still got plenty of damage here from Lexi. So going to land. Sharpshooter going to be channeled up and they'll get the break onto the tide, but they don't have the follow-up. Without Reza around, they'll have to watch the tier 3 tower drop for free.
Ooh, Akon shot.
Nothing real.
Look at the damage.
Really come over. Look at this. July trying to move in, but this may cost her. They're going to right to the face, and now the Rabbit landing on the whole team. Reza, BKB up just in the nick of time to avoid the Terrorize, but she's gone.
No tree either. She jumped in with no tree.
No tree either. Oh boy. And in they go for the cleanup. Disgrace Familia girls. They might have this game in the bag because they're onto the tier 4 towers. Lexi's seen enough. There goes your tier 4 tower. Weak when you're around, going in for more. Might find the vent, and they will. A triple kill for Lexi. The sharpshooter, it does land. She's got the Aegis anyway. And this game's looking very over now as they do pop the first life. But the Ancient is completely exposed. And with this Lina, they're going to have so much damage. As long as you get those fiery souls going. She won't for now, though. Instead, just still hitting that Ancient. They've got to be careful. They've only got about 25 seconds for this Bristleback to back up. But it seems like they are very confident to allow Lulu back into the fight. And that'll be this game going the way of Disgrace Familia girls. So, like you said, Otomo, proud family here for the tire.
Thank you. I mean, their lineup, I mean, it was a lot closer than we thought it would go, honestly. Like, I thought their draft was just better, and they played really well in the laning stage as well. They were lucky to have Lexi against Lulu. Like, Lexi did an amazing job. But there was a lot of fight coming out from 4DAGANG. A bunch of really good, Lulu especially was able to get a lot of good fights going for them. Decent soul buys. July tanked for the team. It's just that last defense, Reza, which he didn't have a tree. She just jumped in. They died one by one, and Disgrace Familia girls, they take it. And good for them. It was very impressive show, particularly by Lexi. 21-8. That is insane.
It certainly is a fantastic performance here from Lexi in particular, and I'm looking very forward to seeing how they go on here, Disgrace Familia girls. Again, there was some rocky moments in this one game between the two, and obviously some very close comeback potential, but 4DAGANG unable to quite get the job done, and
Yeah, but
well, we are gonna,
I do
yeah.
I do think 4DAGANG could make it to the playoffs. Like the way they played, it was really
Hmm.
good. Like yes, they lost, but that doesn't mean that they played badly. If that makes sense. Like they just lost because a bit outdrafted.
Yeah, no, certainly so. I mean, they've definitely got some great potential, and maybe just, you know, maybe change the draft up next time you meet against Disgraced Familia girls if you get there, and you never know what's going to happen. Still with that, Otomo, I believe we are going to be heading off to a very short break, and of course, right after the break, we'll be back with another series for the FSL.